Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to church on such a great Sunday. We're so grateful you're here, and those of you online, of course, as well. We're going to start right now by singing our opening chant, "We Are the Harvest." 1, 2. Here we go. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest we reap.
Thank you, Sam. Good morning, everyone. I'm Suze Webster, and I'm a practitioner here. We are delighted that you are here to join us in person or online. If you are one of our live streamers, feel free to enter the location from where you're watching. We'd love to know where you're from. For those of you here in person, we ask that you take a moment and silence your cell phones. Thank you. So let us join together in prayer. As we just center into this wholeness that is within us always, knowing that God is right here in this very moment. And as I know this to be the truth, I know it to be the truth for each and every person here and watching and beyond. We bless this service today. We know with our hearts that we are in the divine space, open and receptive to hear the words that we need to hear so that we may move forward in our lives. We bless all the people behind the scenes. We bless our beautiful musicians and our beloved Dr. Mark, Reverend Sidney, all of our ministers here. So we just give great thanks for this day, knowing that this is the truth, and we simply release it, knowing together we are one. And together we say, Amen.
I am part of the great mind of God, and God is all that I am. God is love, God is peace, God is life itself, and God is all that I am. I am part of the great mind of God, and God is all that I am. God is love, God is peace, God is life itself, and God is all that I am. I am part of the great mind of God, and God is all that I am. God is love, God is peace, God God is life itself, and God is all that I am.
Would you please rise and join us in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Please remain standing for our congregational song, Joy and Peace in My Heart. 1, 2. Joy and peace in my heart, always I feel. Joy and peace in my mind, God within reveal. Joy and peace in my life, I am healed. I am one with God, I know the truth. I am one with creation and one with you. There is no separation between all that is. I am one. Joy and peace in my heart, always I feel. Joy and peace in my mind, God within reveal. Joy and peace in my life, I am healed. Spirit dwells within me, guides all I do. It infuses my life with the light I am new. I am rich with abundance of all that is good. All is good. Joy and peace in my heart, always I feel. Joy and peace in my mind, God within reveal. Joy and peace in my life, I am healed. I am healed.
Please be seated. And as we settle in, let's take a moment to welcome our live streamers. Hello, everyone. Everybody wave to the camera, say hello, good morning. Let's also take a moment to recognize and honor all of us here in the sanctuary with a loving namaste, a smile. So now it is time for us to meditate. For the next 5 minutes, I invite you to close your eyes and silently repeat the mantra, God's the love that I am. If your mind wanders, just bring it back to silently repeating, God's the love that I am. And I will bring us out of meditation in 5 minutes.
It's a whisper you hear in the midst of your fear. It's revealing. It's a part of the heart, and it's just who we are. It's so healing. It's the power inside, always wins over pride, never judges. And it strengthens and comforts us all. That's what love is. It's the healer of souls, makes the broken ones whole and completed. It's what gives you the strength and the hope when you're feeling defeated. It's a compass and guide, and it won't be denied, so we trust it. It's the light in the dark of it all. That's what love is. And it's patient and kind, and it's deaf, dumb, and blind to the madness. It's the ace of the dealer of truth, the healer of sadness. It's the place that you know from so long, long ago, and it's freeing. And you feel when it's there, 'cause you're able to share from your being. And it takes us all higher, and it lifts and inspires all it touches. It's the best part of being alive. That's what love is. Yes, it's patient and kind, and it's deaf, dumb, and blind to the madness. It's the ace of the hero of truth, the healer of sadness. It's beyond right or wrong, and it's not weak or strong. It's not winning. For the young and the old, it's a brave and a bold new beginning. It's the peace and the hope, and it helps us to cope. It's forgiving. It's the light that will always endure. It's eternal and simple and pure. That's what love is.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. We are in our third Sunday of our Journey of the Heart program, and it's during this time where we ask you to think about how important the church is to you. If the church is important to you, I assume it is, you're here. And in your packet, there is a pledge card that we hope that you will give us your pledge for the year ahead, for 2024, so we can plan what we are going to do or not do. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about forgiveness from perhaps a slightly different angle, because I particularly want to talk about forgiveness in relation to our ability to prosper and experience abundance and thrive in life. So, you know, in the Bible, it mentions, it uses the word forgive 62 times. And it talks about forgiveness 27 times. And nowhere does it tell you how to actually do it. So everybody thinks it's a good idea, but people were not so sure on how to actually accomplish that, is what I take away from that. So why forgive? Why? Why do we have to forgive? Because it's the right thing to do. Well, that's the wrong reason, because it's the right thing to do. I think there's a couple of things that people do if they're trying to forgive in an automatic sort of way. People often want to forgive quickly because that's going to make them feel like they're a really good person. And that's a mistake. That's not why you want to forgive. That the person who feels like they have been victimized feels a lot of pressure to forgive from everybody else. Oh, you really should forgive. Well, you should just forgive and move on. Forgive and forget. You know, people say things like that. And the third thing that comes to me really is that you think forgiveness is a shortcut to healing, and actually it's not. It's just part of an ongoing process. So let's be really clear. When we talk about forgiveness here in the Science of Mind, the point of forgiveness is to set you free. It is not about condoning other people's bad behavior. It is not about you being a doormat for other people or anything like that. What it's doing is it's taking this hook that is in you and taking the hook out and saying, you no longer have authority over me. You no longer have power over me. This that you have done or that we have experienced together, this no longer has any dominion over me. So do you see why you want to forgive? You want to forgive for you. So you get free. So you get unhooked. So I think about this and I think, okay, if forgiveness is to set me free, a little process I go through is I know what you did. It's not okay. But I also know, because I've been studying the Science of Mind now for almost 4 decades, I also know that who you are is more than what you did. And I don't want to hold either of us captive to that anymore. See, if we're going for vengeance, what that does is that always changes us to another person. You know, so what exactly are we forgiving? Well, the fact that this person perhaps caused us pain or anguish or grief. You know, this is what's happening to me, and this is what I'm forgiving. I think it's really important to identify specifically for yourself, what is it you're forgiving? A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people seem to avoid forgiveness because we don't want to look at our wounds, which if we really enter into the spirit of forgiveness, we're going to have to look at where we are not feeling whole and perfect and complete. Real forgiveness has to let go, I think, of all expectations on the parts of other people. You know, and also for yourself, because you don't know who you're going to be on the other side of forgiveness. This is something that I have really come to understand. And you know, and it's not something people often feel they can do right away. You know, that's okay. You don't have to do it right away. I don't know where that comes from. Oh, you should forgive. Well, it just happened 5 minutes ago. Well, you need to forgive. Well, you know, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. So maybe we can't do it right away, that it's okay to be angry at first for a little while. It's a mistake to think that forgiveness depends on the other person. See, a lot of people say, well, I could forgive if they would just apologize. And I'm here to tell you that's a trap. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're making your ability to forgive be dependent on other people, and it's not. I'm here to tell you it's not. People go on boldly, audaciously, living their life bigger and better than ever before, and you will be in unforgiveness, and they won't even know about it. They will not even know about it. They'll go on having one fabulous time after another, while you just sit there in your little pig pen of a funk. You know, like Pigpen on Charlie Brown, he's always got that little cloud around him and I think that cloud is his current consciousness. And so today that cloud for Pigpen could be unforgiveness. And yeah, it might be nice to get an apology, but it's not necessary because they may never see. They may never see, and that is not your business. The unforgiveness lives in you. The unforgiveness is affecting you. The unforgiveness, I'm here to tell you, is limiting you, and that's what we want to address today. You want to get free more than you want to hold on to a story, don't you? Okay, good. And then I'm in the right place. I felt the silent nod there. So I will tell you, everybody's got this story. They did us wrong. They did us wrong, right? So I've got one. I've got a really good one. I've got a really good one, and it involved over $10,000, and they did me wrong. And I had great support in this story because, of course, I knew who to tell the story to, so I got perfect agreement, right? I knew absolutely, and they, oh, yes, they're so terrible. They're wrong. They're a horrible person. They should be struck down by lightning. Absolutely. They did us wrong. And so, in a nutshell, my story is that I had left a job and they owed me over $10,000. And they promised me I would get that check on my last day. And someone in the company came to me and said, oh, by the way, they're not going to give you that check. They're just telling you that to keep you quiet and docile. And then we figure we'll just usher you out on the last day. And I was like, what? This is my money. I earned this money. This money is mine by right of consciousness. This is what Science of Mind has taught me. So anyway, I left that job and I did not get that money. And I got to tell you, I was in a rage and a fury like I have never known before. Anybody who would listen, I would tell this story of how I had been done wrong. And even some people who didn't want to listen, I was telling them the story. They might just be passing by on the street and say, hey, you know what happened to me recently? Let me tell you. I just was getting so much mileage out of telling this story. And I guess because he'd been paying attention, I had told it to my practitioner several times. And he said to me one day, when are you going to be done with this story so your life can move on? And it's like, this wasn't feeling very practitioner-y to me. Because I kind of thought, like, you know, if he was a good practitioner, he'd get down in the pit with me and, you know, and try and get comfortable there. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he says, you know how the universe works. Is this money yours? Yes, it's mine. And you earned it. Yes, I did. And so it's yours by right of consciousness. Yes, it is. And he said, then no one and nothing can keep that from you. It's like, well, then why don't I have my $10,000 plus? And he says, because you keep thinking it's about this person. And you keep thinking that they are the source of your good. And you keep thinking they're the source of your $10,000. And on and on and on. And I felt like my head was going to explode. You know how it starts? You start to get hot. You know, and then you feel like you're getting a little red, and maybe you're even perspiring, and I think if he continues, I'm going to explode. I'm just going to explode. There's going to be guts all over the room. And he said, no, really, I really want you to hear this. He said, if you can forgive them, the universe is always trying to balance the account. So if that money is owed for you, the universe will bring it to you another way. And you know, I didn't really want the universe to bring it to me another way, if I tell the truth. I didn't. I wanted them to pony up the money that they owed me. Stinker. Huh? And he said, you got to get the bigger picture. You got to get the bigger picture. The universe is always trying to balance the accounts. And he says, and when you have forgiven them, the universe will bring the money in another door, another window, a garage door. The money will come another way. That was not good news to me because I just didn't want to do it. You know what? I really didn't. I just didn't want to do it. But I started, you know, and this is honestly how it starts sometimes because it was as much as I was capable of doing. I forgive you, you son of a, and you can fill in the blank. And I did that for a while, and then it evolved, and it's like, okay, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. I started writing letters of forgiveness and throwing them in the fireplace, burning them up, and I did it and did it and did it and did it. And one day, I was clean. It was like gone. How did I know? Because I ran into the person. Oh, God. Only me. Where did I run into them? In the bookstore of a church. In another state, okay? I'm there. I'm all by myself. I am all by myself, and I've been up in the chapel, and I'm praying and meditating, and I'm forgiving, and I'm loving everyone in the universe, and I'm putting out just general good universal vibes to everyone, and not even particularly thinking about this. And I went down and I looked in the bookstore where there's nobody in the bookstore. And it was one of those on your honor bookstores where they just leave a little box that you put the money in, so there wasn't even a cashier. And I'm looking at something, and I hear a voice behind me say, "Hello, Mark." And it was one of those really unmistakable voices. It could not have been anybody else. in the universe. And in a split second, a few options occurred. I could bristle, it's them. I could display my displeasure with them or anything like that, but I didn't because I'd been practicing. And so I just turned and I said, "Hi, how are you? What a surprise to see you here." And we had a moment of conversation, and I left, and I didn't have any of that, going on. And I got out to my car and I thought, I've done it. I have actually forgiven. I feel complete with that person. I really didn't have anything there. And I want you to know the money showed up in a completely different way. It was so great. It was so great. So, this is one of those times where the Bible talks about how someone intended it for your harm and God used it for your good. And so I was in the process of saving money to buy my first house. And what happened is this money came in a completely unplanned for way, and it was the rest of the deposit I needed to buy my house. Which if I had gotten the money a year and a half, 2 years before, whatever it was, I would have spent the money. And I would not have had the deposit for the house. So see, God actually used it for my good by seemingly holding it back for a little bit and then getting it through this other way. So now I am a believer. I am a believer. I am a believer. Right? Even though I had this great story about how they had done me wrong, I had to forgive for me. And you know what really got my attention? Money. Money gets my attention. I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you the truth. If it involves money, that usually I go, let me pay attention to that. Let me see here. And now this was my money. And it was a lot of money. And that really, really got my attention. So, it can be a dramatic gesture, to go and cut somebody out of your life, They are to blame for what is wrong with my life. And as good as it feels in the moment, it will never bring us lasting happiness. And I speak from experience on this. There are all kinds of studies that now show that negative beliefs and negative thinking, negative words and behaviors affect our mental and physical health, our success, our self-worth, on and on and on. So an unwillingness to forgive is like stabbing yourself, right, with a knife and expecting the person who did the wrong to us to feel the pain. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So forgiveness is not for the other person. Let me say that right now. It is not for the other person. It's not for the other person. Do not think it's for the other person. Who is it for? It is for you. It is for yourself. When we forgive, it allows us to make room for the greater good in our life that we desire. Don't forgive? Okay. But you'll probably continue to feel not worthy of the best that life has to give to you. And life is always trying to give to us because it is the nature of infinite loving spirit to give of itself all the time. So forgiveness is the most difficult spiritual practice to master in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, we talked about this a few weeks ago, the most difficult practice to master in the Old Testament is the practice of tithing. And the most difficult practice to master in the New Testament is forgiveness. So Jesus told us, love one another. Jesus said to forgive one another. We have to become, I think this is just sort of for the future of the planet. We have to become people who forgive freely, joyfully, fully. When I think about it, if I really tell the truth, my problem with not forgiving other people is because they're just not behaving the way I want them to behave. I mean, really, that's the bottom line. You're not doing what I want you to do. I'm not going to forgive you, right? But what it seems to be is that people behave the way they behave, don't they? They just behave the way they behave. And I think we have to accept them and love them just the way they are. What people do or don't do is largely none of my business. There, I've said it publicly. I can't believe it. It's, there's just going to be these huge gaps of space in my life now because I'm not going to be minding other people's business. The scripture says that there is now no condemnation within me. Right? So face it, we have too much work to do on our own consciousness, really, we all do, to be worrying about someone else's and them getting theirs. You know, we've all talked about blame, right? Our culture loves the idea of blame, you know, so that we can say, see, they're the problem. See, this is the problem. See, that's the problem. But when you think about it, I mean, think about human beings historically. We are great problem solvers, aren't we? We have solved all kinds of problems over the centuries. So forgiveness frees us from an endless loop of blame and bad feelings that keeps us focused on all the wrong things. With forgiveness, we can let go of the past and turn to more important issues in our lives, like how to be really happy today, like how to be really healthy today, like how to have the things in life that seem important to us right now, like fulfilling our life purpose or our life dream. You know, we've all heard about an eye for an eye and do unto others, but that's Old Testament consciousness. New Testament consciousness is forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Yeah, there are people who do really terrible things again and again and again, and that's really difficult to wrap our spiritual mind and our spiritual heart and our spiritual arms around that. All right? But people do some really terrible things on the face of the earth that's happening around us right now. You know, so there's no good answer to the why question, because that's what people get stuck in. Well, why? Why do people do these things? If I could only understand why? There's just not a good answer to that. You know, so I think a better question is, what will I do now? All right, this has happened. So what will I do now? What do I know? What do I believe spiritually? How will I define myself as a spiritual being on a path? What tools do I have at my disposal that will help me through this experience? This is not putting up with bad behavior I'm talking about. You get to stand up for yourself and what you think is right. Spiritually, I don't think if people have behaved badly, I don't think it is inherently spiritual that we have to keep them in our life. Whew, that's good news, isn't it? Right? But spiritually, everybody take a breath with me because this is going to get really ugly in a second. But spiritually, you do have to keep people in your heart, right? So they don't have to come to dinner, but they get to continue to occupy a place in your heart. And for some of us, that is bad news. See, because people love to say, I can forgive, but I can't forget. Well, I know I'm going to make enemies on this, but I'm going to just tell you the way I see it. Then I think you really haven't completely forgiven yet, if you're forgiving but not forgetting. Now, I know some people, it's just so personal, it's very difficult. So where to begin? So I think a really sincere place to begin is, God, I really want to forgive this S.O.B., Son of the Blessed. But I'm having difficulty with that right now, so God, you forgive them through me, I'm willing. That's the best effort we can do at some point. The very best I can do is, I really want to, but I'm not there yet, so God, you start to forgive them through me. What does this have to do with an abundant life, you're wondering? I'm here to tell you, my experience is it has everything to do with having an abundant life. Ernest Holmes taught this many years ago. There is only one. How many? One. There is only one life. This life is God's life. This life is perfect. This life is my life right now. So we are participating in the one life. We don't have a work life and a life with friends and a life at home with loved ones and a special romantic life and my life with, all these. See, we like to compartmentalize, I think. I have this group of people, I have this group of people, I have these people I see here, these people I see for this, these people I see for that. But the principle is that there's one life. You are the same consciousness moving and expressing in all of these areas. And so you bring that one consciousness with you. So if we look at how you're doing in the area of abundance and prosperity, and you say to yourself, well, I think I could be doing better, I would say then one of the areas you must look at is who are you not forgiving, including yourself? Who are you not forgiving, including yourself? Because that lack of forgiveness, whether it's for you or someone else, blocks your subjective mind. It's like it's just like this big bleh in your subjective mind that the light of God cannot move through. So when you say, God, I am ready for a more abundant expression of life, that thought, that creative idea moves from your conscious mind into your subjective mind, but it hits this unforgiveness. And it just goes kerplunk. It just goes thud. Right? It doesn't move into the last level, which is worldly expression. So it seems to me that if what I've been saying to the universe is I'm getting so much value out of not forgiving these particular people, these particular events, these world events that are happening now. I'm getting so much value out of not forgiving those things. I'll wait to prosper. I'll wait for my life to be as good as it could be. I'll wait for things to get better. I'll wait for my body to heal. I'll wait on paying those bills on time because it's just so juicy being angry and unforgiving. Well, you know, that is just not the case for me anymore. So we can start with that God forgive them through me, because the principle is that there's only one life, right? So I can't be all love and light at home with my family, you know, and be a different person at work and be a different person with some friends. It's all one. The principle is one life, no separate lives. Unforgiveness in your conscious and subjective mind blocks the flow of God's abundance in your life. And I know, I'm not going to ask anybody to raise hands. I'm not even going to look. That we perhaps, not all, but perhaps many of us have areas, these special little areas, you know, that we just say, yeah, but this case is special. This one's really different. You don't understand what they did to me and how that affected me. Well, I'm just going to tell you, this is why this is talked about in the Bible as much as it is, because I think the Bible is everybody's journey, and in the Bible you'll pretty much find everything that could possibly happen to you on your path back to God, right? So your unforgiveness is limiting you. That's what I want to say. And so you must make yourself forgive. Now again, not at first. At first, right after something happens, you can be mad for a while and storm around and, you know, but then, you know, set a timer. But then be patient, be consistent, give it daily attention. Because forgiveness will change your life for the better. And yeah, I understand resistance is normal at first. So part of this has to be, and people always ask, what about self-forgiveness? Yes, an excellent place to start. Absolutely. Absolutely. I forgive myself for, and you fill in the blank. I forgive myself for, and you fill in the blank. I forgive myself for, and you fill in the blank. Now that's going to seem awfully, awfully simple to you. So let me give you an example with something that I have used and I've really enjoyed. And you can repeat after me. I love you. I accept you. I bless you. I forgive you. I release you. Now we'll do it together again. I love you. I accept you. I bless you. I forgive you. I release you. Now when I say I release you, you're not throwing them out of your heart. You're releasing them from this story, from all this energy you've put into holding them as the bad person in your life. So I think this is a way in with forgiveness, that we start with something simple like affirming. I forgive myself for, I forgive Ernest for, blah, blah, blah. I think it's a really good practice before you go to bed at night to say, have I kept anybody out of my heart intentionally today? So basically what you're doing is you're doing a quick little scan through your day to see if you were a butthead anywhere, right? You know, did I not show up as the conscious, loving being I like to think of myself as? And if you did, if you put anybody out of your heart today, before you go to sleep, you just forgive yourself and you forgive them. Another great thing to do every once in a while is sort of look at your whole life. And is there anybody anywhere? Am I still mad at that kid from first grade who stole my lunch? You know, it's really time to let that go. I mean, it's really, really time. I have survived without that lunch all this time. Maybe he couldn't get lunch any other way. I don't even need to know, but it's time to let that go. And that teacher who said this and that and on and on and on. Remember, a teacher had said to my sister when she was young, and my mother, remember the parent-teacher conference? And she had been very unkind and told my sister that she was not college material, and the best she could hope for was to find a good husband. And it was pretty cruel. It was pretty cruel. And I will tell you that my sister suffered from that for a while. And then some things changed within her. So when she was younger, she was dyslexic. And I did not know this, but and back then nobody knew about that. I mean, people just didn't know. No kid was diagnosed with dyslexia, 70 years ago. And but at some point she grew out of it. And the letters and numbers that seemed to be reversing themselves on her all the time just went away. And so not that long ago, we were having some conversation about this. And I said, isn't it interesting how you have proved that woman so wrong? Isn't it interesting that you did not allow that to keep you down? She said, oh yeah, but when I was younger, I did. I said, yes, but you grew out of it. How wonderful. You've grown past that. Even though, and I understand, we've all had horrible things said to us or done to us, ways that we've been limited or put down or held back. It occurs to me, because I've traveled quite a bit in my life, not everybody thinks that, not every country that you would go to thinks that this is a great idea. And I think this is why it's so popular in America, because again, I believe that America was the divine idea in the mind of God. That the idea of America and a democracy like we have could only happen in a place where there had never been a king on this soil, on American soil, where we had not lived under a monarchy and that kind of rule. And so because we had not, we were like, to some extent, a clear slate to create something else. Now, I know there were lots of other things going on at the same time, with Native people and stuff like that. But, I mean, from the big picture, there was a divine idea that something greater would burst forth in consciousness as this idea of America. And I think inherent in that idea are these, certainly life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but that each person has value. And part of how we continue to support that idea that each person has value is that we forgive ourselves and we forgive other people. I think if I had not had a practitioner who really held my feet to the fire around this forgiveness thing, I would not have made the progress I had and have. And again, I think a good place to start, if you've got something that is just blocking you or holding you back, is you say with all sincerity, God, forgive them through me. You do this for you, all right? This experience no longer has power over me. Because if the channel of your subconscious remains blocked with unforgiveness, you will not prosper as greatly as God intends for you to prosper. You will not live as healthy a life as God intends for you to live. You will not experience as much love as the universe is trying to bring to you. Remember that all of those horrible things, and we've all been through them, all of those horrible things that have happened to us again and again over the years, it was all for our growth. So let's tend to that now. Let's turn our attention inward and pray together. So as we take a moment to just become still, we'll just start with what I gave for an affirmation. I love you, I accept you, I bless you, I forgive you, I release you. I love you, I accept you, I bless you, I forgive you, I release you. In the infinite mind that is God, God that is love and peace and abundance and wholeness and joy, I know that that Spirit of God is everywhere and it's right where we are. It's the truth about each and every one of us. And so as we come together in the two or more gathered in the name of the one, I know that the good of God is fully present here, and that includes our perfect healing. So I know for each and every one of us today, if there's any place in our life where we have held on to an unforgiveness, I know we are willing to surrender that to the light and love that God is right now, that we are finished with it. We've gotten all we can from it, and we allow God to be God in a greater way by means of us. We allow God to thrive through us, to prosper through us, to be abundant by means of us, because we have forgiven. There is nothing in us that gets any value anymore from those experiences of the past. In this moment, I claim for each and every one of us that we are new, and that the path ahead is bright, not dark. So we include in our prayer today family members and friends, parents and children, all of those we love and hold near and dear. We see them in our mind's eye. And we wrap our spiritual arms around them, blessing them, loving them, lifting them up, claiming perfect healing for each and every one. We think about what's happening in the world around us, and with a big heart, a big loving heart, we send love and light and peace and healing into those situations. And how we do that is first by being forgiving ourselves, by not accusing, by not blaming, but by just putting more light and love into the world by forgiving again and again and again. We bless our church. We bless all churches everywhere, synagogues and temples and mosques and ashrams, all paths to God. I know we're blessed by being together. So it is with an open, gracious, and a full heart that I say, thank you, God. Thank you that this is the truth. I release this word into law, and so it is. Together we all say, amen. All right, we'll sing one time together. I am so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
All right, I invite you to hold your gift over your heart as we say our statement of giving together. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. I thank you very much.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Oh, how happy you
digital media team, we are so blessed. Thank you, everyone. So if this is your first time to the church, we're delighted to have you here, and please stop by the welcome table out on the patio to pick up a packet especially for you. On our bulletin, you will see how to make donations to our church through the text or give number or the QR code or through our website, nhcrs.org/give. Prayer is available after service in person or on Zoom every morning at 9:45. Every morning? No, not every morning. Every Sunday morning at 9:45. Our junior church provides spiritual uplift and education to the kids, from toddler to teen and everything in between. Wednesday night, the Heart of Healing service with practitioner ministerial student Bill Carpenter. Meditation is at 6:50. Service is at 7 p.m. Bill's topic this week is affirmations, acceptance, and prosperity. Grief support on Zoom. This is facilitated by practitioner Carol Whitaker and meets today at 1 p.m. on Zoom. All are welcome, and the link is on our website. Join us next Sunday, October 29th, for a Day of the Dead Sacred Altar. We will be honoring our ancestors and those who have passed through the veil. Please bring a picture or mementos of your loved ones to place on the altar. Save the date. Friday, November 10th at 7 p.m., our Creative Arts Ministry is presenting a play reading of the classic Neil Diamond comedy, Neil Simon. Who did I say? Did I say Diamond? God, and the words are right here. My apologies. I wanted it to be Neil Diamond, I guess. I don't know. Neil Simon's comedy, God's Favorite. This show is an updated and comedic retelling of the biblical book of Job. I was so afraid I was going to read that wrong, too. And the stars are our own Dr. Mark Vierra, Reverend Sidney Steen, and a cast of North Hollywood Church All-Stars. The jokes and tests of faith fly fast and furious as Neil Simon spins a contemporary morality tale like no other in this hilarious comedy. There will be fellowship and refreshments afterwards on the patio. Suggested donation is $10. Don't miss out on this. Join Dr. Mark for a trip to Machu Picchu, April 18th through the 26th. I love it. Trip details and brochure can be found on the website, on the patio. Don't miss out.
Sam, tell us, was Paul Simon Peruvian?
No. While you were gone last week, I told everybody, but in case you weren't here last week, this is an actual ancient Peruvian traditional song that Paul Simon, many centuries later, adapted.
Thank you.
Love it.
Awesome. Zoom virtual patio before and after Sunday and Wednesday services. Zoom meditation every morning, Monday through Saturday from 7:55 to 8:15 a.m. Visit our website at NHCRS.org to obtain all the Zoom links and more information about all of the events, and sign up for our weekly e-blast and our monthly newsletter. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We have practitioners who are available to pray with you at the end of our service. So if you would like prayer, just remain in the sanctuary. Practitioners, come on up. Let's sing.
There
repeat after me. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love. Amen. Thank you.